Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for watching our video. I am Starling Brighter with my partner, Linda Berry. We're going to be talking today about the Sun opposite Saturn that is coming up. And we're going to be looking at the vibrational astrology of the Sun opposite Saturn. It's interesting. There's a lot to go over. And we will also include at the end of the video the Sabian symbols that go with the Sun opposite Saturn. So hi, Linda. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Starling?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to do another video and, talking about the cycle of Saturn and the Sun. And it's an important cycle. This one is a really big one. We have a lot to talk about. It's a lot of different interesting things. But before we get into that, I want to do a shameless plug for you because you write an amazing amount of work every single day. I'm blown away at how much you do. So if you guys don't know already about Linda's Vibrational Astrology Diary, you should check her out. The link will be in the description box, and you can go to her website, astrosleuth.org, and you can sign up, and she will email it to you every day, or you can just look at the website. But the emails are great. I look forward to them every day when I wake up in the morning to look to see what's ahead. And it's a great way to explore astrology in a different way, in a vibrational astrology, under a vibrational astrology lens. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. So yeah.
Thank you, Starling.
You're welcome.
Has some vibrational astrology in it, and it also has some Sabian symbols material, which is not vibrational astrology, but I find that they complement each other.
Right. And I mean, it's amazing. And I know you have a lot of people that give you great feedback, and it's great. So it's very, very awesome thing for you guys to check out. So we're going to dig in and we're going to talk about the Sun opposite of Saturn. And that happens, what is the time that happens? Do you know?
About once a year.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, once a year. But like what do you know what time this year it happens?
Oh, August the 2nd at 2:14 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Eastern Daylight Time. 2:14 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Okay, great. So do you want to just go ahead and we can start sharing the pictures? Okay, so Linda is sharing the Sun opposite Saturn chart. This is the natal chart, and we can discuss this a little bit before moving on.
Yes, the first thing I wanted to mention is this is kind of a little bit like the full moon for the Sun-Saturn cycle. Every year, the sun goes around the whole zodiac, and it has a point in the year when it conjuncts Saturn, and it has a point when it's opposite Saturn. So this is a cycle, and these are two peak points, and we will probably do Sun conjunct Saturn when it gets around to it in late January or early February.
Yep.
But today we're going to look at the way the Saturn-Sun interaction has developed this year, and that is Sun opposite Saturn. As you can see, they're way across the chart here. Now, this is very interesting because the basic energy, because this is focused on Sun-Saturn, the basic energy is Sun is on Mercury. Mercury is snuggled up right next to it, opposing Saturn. So a Sun, Mercury to Saturn energy has to do with analysis. Saturn in general wants to figure out what is really important, what lasts a long time. Get rid of all the trivial stuff, only keep to the things that are the most essential. That's Saturn. It wants to cut everything away but those very, very important things. And with Mercury on it, it says there's going to be a lot of analysis here. Do you have some comments about that, Starling?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just thinking myself from my own experience in the last day or so. I feel, obviously when an aspect comes to an exact point, which is what we're talking about, there is a culmination to get to that point, much like you were talking about the full moon. So as these planets are getting to be in the space where Mercury is almost exactly conjunct the sun, opposite Saturn during this time, we're starting to feel the energy. And I can notice myself starting to feel the energy. It's like almost revving up. I know that it's a couple degrees away from being exact, but as the days progress, it will get stronger, and at this point it's like that climax. That's the energy, like Linda was talking about with the full moon. It is going to be a great time to get your thinking cap on. Do something.
Yes,
do something
indeed.
Yes, do something with some serious thinking, doing some, maybe studying, even that sort of thing. But it's definitely a great time to, open yourself up in that way to something that's meaningful to you, not just something that is trivial or whatnot.
Starlene's talking about starting to feel it. Well, you need to know that we're recording this video on the 29th of July, which is about 5 days before this is happening. And it's already just beginning to get... The sun is actually the one that's moving fast. Saturn's going to stay is very close to the position you see in this chart 5 days beforehand. But the sun is about 5 degrees away, approaching. And Sun and Mercury are kind of traveling together. And so they are coming up to where they're going to lock in opposite Saturn. Now, there's another interesting pattern here. This last year, I did research on Haumea and Eris, and I did vibrational astrology research. So we have core meanings for them in vibrational astrology terms. So I decided to put them in this chart, and look at them. They are in a strong T-square with Pluto. It's right here. You see, here's Eris, here's Haumea, and Pluto's in between them. There's an especially strong relationship between Eris and Pluto, but Haumea is in there for sure as well. So this gives some more ideas about what Sun opposite Saturn may be bringing. And this represents a obligatory birth process, a necessity to change our way of thinking. And that's Haumea with Pluto. And Eris says we need to learn to think more in terms of flows of energy connecting things together, that things are connected together. Eris is very adamant about this, that you have to recognize how things are connected to each other and operate based on that. And one of the things that happens with Eris is that if you don't connect things together, then it gets pretty chaotic. So there's a possibility of some chaos here, the kinds of chaos that is connected with a new birth.
Right. And it's interesting. That's, in a sense, that's what we're doing here. We're studying these patterns, these vibrations, sharing it with other people. So it's interesting that this is going on now. And I know that the Saturn, Sun, Mercury is a different circuit in this chart, as the circuits are 3 different, planets or more creating a circuit. But I feel like they interplay with each other in a sense.
They're all talking about describing this pattern. Even if they're not the same circuit, they're all part of what the Sun-Saturn opposition is bringing to us.
Exactly. And it's a great way to be able to figure out how to adjust yourself during this time to get the results that you're looking for, the things that you're wanting to push forward with in your life. So this is an interesting chart so far, but I know we have a lot more.
Well, it gets more interesting.
Yes, it does.
The analysis techniques that I set up in Frequency Finder will evaluate a chart and find out where the strongest patterns are. Frequency Finder is a software pattern that's an add-on to Sirius that I wrote. But the analysis in Frequency Finder shows, let me just show it you for a moment here, just so you have it. This is the analysis process. And what it shows is that vibration 19, these vibrations on the left, when we're talking about transiting patterns, are the lower vibrations, the first 32, and those are the ones we're more likely to feel when we have a pattern that's happening in the sky versus in our natal chart when we feel them all. So this is 19th vibration, and you can see it right here. And this is a very distinctive energy. Here's the sun opposite Saturn, which, because this is the chart where Sun and Saturn are exactly opposite, they will be opposite in every odd vibration and conjunct in every even vibration. That's what happens in vibrational astrology. And they will always be there because it's the exact point when they are exactly opposite each other. So we have that opposition right here, and Venus Neptune is forming a T-square with it. Now, but that's not the only thing that's happening. The other thing that's happening is that the sun is opposite Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter. And of course, the focus is on Saturn, but Uranus is having its say and Jupiter's having its say. Here's some midpoints. You can see Saturn at Jupiter, Uranus. It's not real strong by midpoint, but the fact that it's all a conjunction makes it strong, and that the Saturn is in the middle enough to form a midpoint. All right. So in a sense, Uranus and Jupiter are bracketing Saturn on the two sides. And this gives a really, really interesting pattern.
Yes, it does.
Oh boy, Sun opposite Saturn Uranus is about, you can't stand other people telling you how you're to operate, what pattern you're supposed to operate in, making rules for you. You have to do it your own way by your rules. Sun opposite Saturn Jupiter is about expanding step by step, where you don't move too fast, but you do expand and grow. And Jupiter Uranus is joyful. Jupiter Uranus is having a good time. So this is kind of this pattern in the 19th vibration. We've got to talk about the 19th vibration for a minute, because that's the framework in which this whole thing is operating, all the things we're looking at right now. The 19th vibration is taking the patterns that you're encountering, the patterns around you, or particular patterns you're interested in, whether it might be a movie script, a symphony, particular culture, but taking the organized patterns around you and evaluating them, going down inside yourself, evaluating these patterns to figure out how they operate, with a special emphasis on strengths, what things work really well, and weaknesses, what things don't work well. So what we've got here is, first of all, the sun opposite Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter in 19 means we're looking at doing whatever we have to do to make things work well. It's a joyful process, but it definitely involves willingness to be independent. Now, In addition to that, we've got the Sun opposite Saturn with Venus and Neptune. And this is about recognizing this beautiful dream that we have, this sense of the things that would make our life amazing. And this Jupiter, this Sun Saturn pattern says go down in, really analyze and figure out what's really important, what will really work effectively for you, what will move you toward your dreams. Look at how you've been operating. What are the strengths and weaknesses of the way you've been operating up till now? This is your time to evaluate how you're making your dreams come into your life and to revise things so you can be more effective.
And, I just want to add that the Sun-Saturn opposition, when it's just connecting with the Jupiter and Uranus energy, it's almost like we're being called to be present, like you said, in that present moment. But if we resist that, that's sometimes when we get a little a little caught up with ourselves. If instead of resisting, like being in that present moment and allowing things to change, to grow, so you can grow, it's important to do that so you can use this energy wisely, because I feel like a lot of things can transpire and you can get a deeper insight with things if you allow yourself to be present, as opposed to focusing too much on what's ahead of you or behind you, and kind of keeping your attention on that present moment and what's real and what's really important to you. And of course, adding in that adding in that, Venus and Neptune, that just gives it a whole nother layer that Linda explained very beautifully. That sweet energy, but also something that's meaningful too. So thank you for sharing that with us, Linda.
I'm glad to. And this is not all there is to a chart.
Right.
In addition, for any chart in vibrational astrology, we work a lot with the midpoints and the isotraps. Isotraps are when the midpoint is the middle of the distance between any two planets. And when two pairs of planets, when the midpoint of one pair of planets and the midpoint of another pair of planets are right on top of each other, then you have a figure that we call an isotrap. It's an isosceles trapezoid, which is a geometric term for it, but nobody likes to use it. So it's too long. So we call them isotraps. And here, where my cursor is, I just spotted one. This will illustrate it. You have Jupiter, Pluto, and you have Sun, Moon, and they are close enough. They're like just a little over half a degree from each other by midpoint. Let's look at where they would be in the chart. Here's Jupiter and Pluto, and Sun and Moon. Now, I decided to go ahead and mention this because whenever you have the Sun, Moon, both in an isotrap, it's really very personal. And so this shows us some more about how we can use this 19th vibration and what Saturn's bringing to us through it, and that is to grow. Jupiter, Pluto is an absolute need to grow, to expand your perceptions. And that's what happens with these isotraps, is we get more information on what's happening. Now, sometimes they get combined together and form a pattern, a beautiful pattern. This is the planets in the 19th vibration. You're seeing them around the chart here. And this is the first of three patterns that are, well, you'll see. Here you have Venus, Neptune with the moon, and it's on Uranus and Saturn. It focuses on that Uranus and Saturn. So this is about the emotional need to work with your dreams, with your attraction to your dreams, and develop the beauty of that in your own way. Now, this is the second pattern, and you'll see in a minute, these are all interrelated with each other. This is, again, the dark green lines show the midpoints, and here we have Moon, Mercury, and Jupiter with the conjunction of Venus and Neptune. And this isotrap itself is about looking at your emotional feelings and expanding your visions and dreams. It warns that you need to take into account history. Look at the big picture. Consider how your dreams and visions relate to the past, connect them in together, and allow yourself to grow and expand in beautiful ways. This also is very good at writing about things. So there's literary ability here. It indicates write down about what your dreams are. Now, I told you these are related. Here's the third pattern. Now, this is a little bit busy, but that's because of this amazing thing happening. First of all, the blue lines here, just ignore the rest for a minute. The blue lines are an isotrap. We have here actually 4 midpoints. We have the Moon, Jupiter, we have Mercury, Pluto, and we have Sun with the Venus-Neptune conjunction. So this is the Sun with Venus, Neptune, and the Mercury with Pluto. One of 3 isotraps here. This is the blue lines. The light blue lines are outlining this. I hope you can see them okay. So yes. This is about thinking about and working with the development, writing things down, but it's about an absolute need that you must work on bringing your dreams to life. Now, there's 3 isotraps here. The second one is the light purple lines here. If you see Mercury to Jupiter and Pluto to the Moon, this is an isotrap, a second isotrap in this triple isotrap pattern. This isotrap is about looking at the big picture, seeing, recognizing, and allowing your emotional need to move you. However, there's a third one, from the Sun, Venus, Neptune to the Moon, Jupiter. And that has the dark purple lines outlining it. And this is, again, about emotional expression of your dreams and visions and making them grow some every day. Now, here's the thing. Do you see these green and all these green lines going across here?
Yep.
This isotrap, Starlene, right here is totally in this triple isotrap here. Now, it's not, we can't say they're equal each other because it's not the midpoints. Oh, here, I went one too far. But some of the lines of each of the 3 isotraps I just showed you combined together. The green lines show everything that is, the green lines going in there, everything that is in the green isotrap you're looking at right here. The whole thing is in this bigger isotrap pattern. Oh, and I want to do a shout out to Thaddeus Fenner, who has been working with these interlocking isotraps for a while and was sharing that with us the other day. And got me looking for them.
Yeah.
And look at what I'm finding. I mean, this is so amazing. And not only that, the moon is not by aspect opposite Venus, Neptune. That's what I was thinking it wasn't. But it is the focal center of all three of these isotraps. This line, moon to Venus, Neptune, is in all three. There you see it in one of the isotraps in this triple isotrap pattern. Here you see it, see Venus, Neptune to moon in the green pattern. And here you see Venus, Neptune to moon in the orange pattern. So that makes Venus, Neptune to moon very central to the message we're being given here. That will apply to some of you more than others, but this is what the Saturn opposite Sun message is to not just look at the present, but treasure the past. That the most beautiful things are things that have a long history to them, and that something about things from the past will help you bring your dreams into life in the present and the future. So this is about integrating the past with the present and the future, and recognizing how amazing the connections we have are. What do you think about it, Starlene?
I mean, this is amazing. And I'm so grateful that Thaddeus has been looking for these things so we can look deeper ourselves. And when I was listening to you explain this, you know, putting it in a couple little phrases, maybe it's, you know, finding that depth, finding that what is real and allowing it to come forward. And I think that it's an opening, being that this is the Saturn and Sun opposition for the year. So, because this only happens once a year. In a sense, of course, this is a chart of a moment, but in a sense, it's part of our cycle. You know, it's that fruition of the fullness of the Saturn Sun. So it's very interesting that it has so much intensity to it, because Saturn itself is not a light planet, as we all know, but it can be channeled, right? It can be channeled in such a good way if we are aware of it, I think, instead of allowing life to kind of push us in different directions. Having that perception of like, this is a way to grow is definitely an excellent way to move forward. And I can see bringing those dreams, that Neptune Venus stuff to light, and that could be something from the past. That's the moon, you know, bringing it into the present, allowing it to unfold as Saturn gets around the zodiac and meets the sun again next year. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I love that you're able to explain this so well to us too.
Well, one thing I want to emphasize is that all of these patterns I explained are operating in the process of deep analysis inside of you. Remember, this is 19, and 19 is down inside there, mulling everything over and figuring out how it works and what is strongest and what's weakest. And then they want to share it with others.
Right. It's like the orchestrator
part earlier. They figure it out, and then they want to share it and interact with other people in the process of making these dreams come true. So one of the things this indicates that we hadn't mentioned yet, Starlene, is that as you're working with your dreams, think about who would like to participate, who you could share with, who you could help to, who could work with you, who would like to work on these dreams with you.
Right. That's a great point, because when we work in groups, when we work with others, maybe not every single human in the world, but when we work as a group, as a collective, we get so much further than if we just do it alone. Of course, that internal work has to be done first, which is that 19th energy. But then, like you said, expanding it outwards you get so much more.
This is the Venus Neptune in there is very attractive, and it may help you attract the people to you that are supposed to work with you.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. And I believe that will definitely help a lot of people, and definitely some more than others, of course.
Okay, now the Sabian symbols are like symbols or hints. They don't always apply to everybody. You can't take them completely literally. They are more like an oracle. They give you clues, and they give you ideas of things that might help you understand what's going on. The way I'm working with the Sabian symbols is using the natal chart, the 13th vibration and the 169th vibration. Now, all of you, to be very clear, the Sabian symbols are not vibrational astrology. We haven't figured out how to verify them by research, so they can't be part of vibrational astrology. I and some other people have found they add an additional dimension to the process of understanding the chart. And so they're kind of like clues to things that might be going on. And remember that they are not literal statements, but they give you ideas about opportunities. They give you ideas about side paths that might cause you some problems and in getting to where you want to go. So, for the sun, the natal chart is like the current behavior in this process. Like I said, this is not vibrational astrology. The 13th vibration is like the soul intent, and the 169th vibration is like a spirit lesson for you to learn in this process. So for the sun, we have the opportunity to begin to work in a new realm of expanded awareness, experiencing the rhythms and patterns within and around you, and being protected by being willing to work within a limited, defined part of this realm in order to develop and integrate these new understandings effectively. In other words, work in a small area that relates to what it is that you're interested in. Don't try to do the whole big thing all at once. Now, the soul level is about facing your past actions, destructiveness and blindness, taking responsibility for them, working on the distorted patterns within you, making amends, forgiving yourself and others so you can make a new beginning. And the lesson, the spirit lesson here, is about opening to a growing awareness of all the opportunities and possibilities available to you. Now, there are some side paths here that could get you into trouble, so you can see this on the screen. I'm going to let you just read that yourself. Remember that this is not all going to apply. This is not literal, but if something in it just kind of grabs you, then maybe that's a message for you. Now, here is the actual Sabian symbols for what I read above. The first one, the behavioral expression, children on a swing in a huge oak tree. You can see the relationship of the opportunities and the possible side paths right here, and or tells you the difference between them. The soul intent, Sagittarius 13, a widow's past brought to light. This is about facing your past, forgiving and forgetting and releasing it so you can have a new beginning. Then the spirit lesson is window shoppers. Think about standing in front of a window in a store with the most amazing stuff in it. So this is about being aware that there are all these opportunities and possibilities available to you. Okay, now let's look at Saturn. Saturn's hints from its positions. First, the opportunities. It wants you to start out with quieting your mind and surroundings, opening to interaction and communication with the sources of inspiration within and beyond you. These are hints about things that might help you with all the things that the vibrational astrology chart showed us. The soul intent is learn to work with patience, discipline, and brilliant inspiration guided by intuition in the process of growth, development, and expression of mastery. The spirit wants you to recognize your worth and the worth of others, being able to make connections and relate to others based on everyone putting their best foot forward and following good manners and established codes of behavior. Now again, you can see right here, you can always stop the recording if you and read the side paths and see what might help you to stay focused clearly where you need to be. Now, the behavioral expression, the symbols for the behavioral expression, man tete-a-tete with his inspiration. The soul intent, a great musician at his piano. That's the call from Saturn for you to become that great musician in whatever area your dreams call you to. And the third symbol, the spirit lesson, an embassy ball. Recognizing your worth, to recognize the value and worth of who you are and the value and worth of everyone else, making connections, relating to others, based on all of you putting your best foot forward. You know, that's what happens at a big ball. And so that's the picture that gives us this advice. So there are Sabian symbols. We deliberately do them at the end. If you want to go back and refer to them, you can just get the end of the video. And it's just ideas that might help inspire you or guide you. If in anything that doesn't feel right to you, throw away. Just take the things that resonate with you out of this, or that maybe help and open up your mind.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing the Sabian symbols. I think the Sabian symbols are very awesome. I know they're not part of VA, but they have been useful for me in my own life's path. And sometimes they kind of resonate. It sounded like there was a lot of stuff that resonated with what we talked about with VA, but of course it's not the same system, but it's very interesting, and they give you another layer and another lens to look through. So for that, I think they're beautiful.
And one thing to remember is, just like with the vibrational chart, everybody in the world is feeling this.
Yes, everybody's feeling
all of us.
Yep, it's not just one of us, it's the whole collective of all of us. So,
and you know what that means? Since you know what's going on, and from the vibrational astrology reading of the chart and from the Sabian symbols, you know what's going on. So you not only know what's going on for you, you know what's going on for everybody else here. Yes. So you can use this information to relate with other people more effectively. And one last thing. This pattern is focused right now while Sun and Saturn are opposed to each other, but it's part of a cycle. And so it's resonating within us. And on one level, you could say it's resonating for about the next 6 months until the next time that Sun conjunct Saturn in late January or early February.
Yep, that's February 4th. I think I looked it up. So yeah, we've got
this is February 4th. Cool.
Yeah. 6 months to go, but it's a great time to give ourselves the opportunity to reassess. You know, I love these charts when they're very, powerful points in the year for us to look at and actually plan ahead and figure out where we've been too. It's not just about going forward, it's also about reflecting back where we were, how did we get to where we are, and then moving forward in the direction we want to. It's almost like a reassessing of it. So I think this was great. So thank you all for watching our video, of course, as always. And Linda, thank you for being my partner here. You guys can definitely check out our links to our websites below. And of course, let us know what you think or what's going on in your chart in relation to Saturn opposite the sun, or if you have questions, we love comments. So let us know what you think and have a great one. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye now.